What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Hustle with Jesse W. And today we're gonna go over another 3 traps not to fall in your 20s. Check it out. Well, guys, trap number 1 we're gonna talk about here is very simple. It's something that you'll hear a lot of as you're basically, entering your 20s and then your 30s. Okay, it's very simple. Not as simple as smashing that like button for me, so go ahead and do that right now. And if you haven't and you're new around here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Really helps me out tremendously. Also, don't be shy. Comment in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts on this. Let me know what traps you've fallen into and what traps you've been able to avoid thanks to just experience, listening to others, watching videos, etc. Well, that trap I'm going to talk about right now, the very first one anyways, is buying a house, buying your property too early. And now this might ruffle some feathers out there, and some people want to be like, oh, but you can never go wrong buying real estate. Well, hold on. Yes, you can. You can definitely go wrong buying real estate a little bit too early in life. Why? Very simple. If you're in your early 20s or even your mid 20s and you don't have a good job yet, you have no real savings, you can go horribly bad buying a property. Why? Because sure, let's say you have $10,000, $15,000, and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna grab $10,000, I'm gonna use one of those 3% downs, and I'm gonna buy one of those properties on an FHA loan, and I'll be good to go, right? And those first home buyer advantages. That's great. You can definitely do that, but if you don't have a good solid income and a decent little savings, which you might have there in this case, right? Saying $15,000, you have $5,000 maybe left over after everything's said and done. I don't know, maybe you will, maybe you won't. That still, to me, is a little bit not enough. But let's say, okay, that's what you have and it's decent enough. But what about your income? What if your income isn't up to par? You buy this property and within the first month, your AC breaks. Your central AC breaks. That could be $2,000, $3,000, maybe $4,000, depending how big of a unit it really is. Are you ready to dish that out? Now all of a sudden you don't have that kind of cash laying on hand for an emergency like this, and you got to swipe a credit card. And all of a sudden now you're $2,500 in the hole. You just bought the house, you haven't even been able to paint anything inside to the colors you want, and your AC already broke. And you don't have any money. Now you're truly broke. You see? So you can go a little bit too ahead of yourself and buy real estate a little bit too early, and it could hurt you. All of a sudden the stove breaks, the AC breaks, like I said, or you have a plumbing issue. These things can cost upwards of, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, depending how bad they are. If you need a whole full brand new AC system, that can cost you $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, depending how big the unit is. If your stove breaks, it could be $500, $1,000, depending what type of stove you need. I mean, if your kitchen is all nice and stainless steel, you're not going to buy a white stove to put in the middle of all that because it's not going to look right. You're going to buy a stainless steel one, and it might cost you a little bit more, right? If you have a plumbing issue or the water heater breaks, these things start to add up. If your income isn't on par and your savings isn't on par, and God forbid you entered into this with already consumer debt behind you that you're paying off every month, then you're just strangling yourself. Rather, you rent a house, and then if something breaks, just dial on the phone, call the landlord or the property manager, let them know, hey, the AC is not working. That's much more manageable. While you continue to save up your money, build up your net worth, build up your work experience, and then you can go buy your property later on when you're actually ready to handle these things, right? When the AC breaks and you don't have to pull your hairs out and get in debt and then get stressed out. When the AC breaks and you're just like, well, let me call the AC guy. And it's you're not gonna lose any sleep, no hair off your back. You're gonna be able to write that check, and it's not gonna impact you tremendously where you're going to go to sleep at night and be like, damn, how am I going to come up with those $2,000 again? Been there, done that. And thank God I was able to just write that check. I think it cost me like $2,500 or so, put the new AC system in the house, and no problem, went to sleep like a baby. Why? Because I actually had the savings going on. I had everything proper. Now, had it been before that, had I bought the house way too early, well then, could be a completely different story. So that's one trap not to fall in. And why do I call it a trap? Well, because a lot of people will tell you, oh, buy your house, you can't go wrong, buy that house. You might hear from your parents, your older siblings, somebody at work. They'll tell you, oh, just buy it, it's better than renting, you're going to be owning it. Well, what good is owning it if you can't afford it? It's just like everything else. You can buy a car, but what if you can't afford the maintenance on it. I mean, some cars have extremely high maintenance. Sure, you could just buy the car, right? But what about maintaining it? The same goes with boats and everything. If you can't keep up with the maintenance without getting in debt, then you really shouldn't own it just yet. You should just wait a little bit more. Now, that's trap number one. Trap number two would be not getting into stupid loans. Yes, that's right. Not leasing a stupid car or buying a brand new car that costs more than you make. So for example, let's say you have you make about $1,000 a week. That's not bad at all. It's $52,000 a year. That's good money, all right? That's not bad money at all in any realm. That's really good money. You can do a lot with that if you budget properly. Now, you make $1,000 a week, okay? It's going to come out to roughly $4,000 a month. Obviously, it's a little bit more. We have some months that are longer, but roughly, let's say $4,000 a month. Now, you go out and you buy yourself a brand new car, $500 payment, plus insurance every month. Let's say you're up to $650 a month in payments. Dude, that's taking a crap load of money out of you. But now, not only that, you have furniture that you actually put on a credit card or you finance through the insurance place like Rooms to Go or some other place, right? Now you have to pay that. And all of a sudden, you have added so much debt that basically everything you're working for throughout the whole month is just going to pay off all these things that are wearing out, because everything you just purchased, the sofa, the car, the refrigerator, everything that you just purchased on debt, these things are liabilities. They're not assets. So they're wearing out. The sofa's getting worn out. The sofa's getting torn up. The car's getting miles like crazy, right? Plus maintenance. The refrigerator's going to break eventually. Usually they last much longer than the sofas. But nonetheless, these are all liabilities. So you have $4,000 that is incoming, a month from your job, and I don't know, man, $2,500, $3,000 of it is going out the door on just nothing but payments, right? $500 in, $650 in car, between car and insurance. You got health insurance out there. Then you have all these other things you bought, like all the furniture for the house, etc. It adds up. So stupid loans, and even more stupid loan than that is those, what are they called? Those cash advance places where you get cash advance loans. Stay away from that. That's just a money pit that will destroy you financially. Now, the third trap not to fall in isn't as exciting as the first one, but it's gonna definitely ruffle more feathers, and I don't care, because that's what YouTube's all about, right? The third one is, don't take a job just because it's safe. That's right, you heard it. A lot of people will tell you, oh, that's a nice safe job. You should grab that right now. Why? Safe jobs are always somewhere around the corner. You can always take a safe job. If you're in your early 20s, mid 20s, or 20s period, and you're taking a safe job when you have a desire for much more, that's the stupidest thing you could ever do. You can always get a safe job later in your 30s. It's just like college. If you're in college and you want to drop out because you want to pursue something that's going to probably give you the opportunity to get much more out of life, then why not do it? You can always go back to college. Who says you can't go back to college when you're 30 years old, even if it's at night? You can always go back to college. You can always go back to getting a safe job. They're always out there. You can always just go back to getting them, right? So if you're in your 20s, me personally, when I was in my 20s, I jumped on board and went with a job that was extremely high risk. Meaning I had no salary. It was all 100% commissions. That means I did not make any money if I made zero sales, okay? So if I made zero sales that week, I didn't make any money, zero. Thankfully that never happened. I always made sales, right? But my checks, my income was based on the sales I made. So therefore, if I made sales, I got paid. If I didn't make sales, I didn't get paid. And I love that freedom, so much so that I've been self-employed for over 14 years now, going on 15 years, all right? That's just the way it is. But I took that risk in my 20s. Why? Because I could always go get a job. I can always go get a regular job. Doesn't mean I'm gonna like it or it's gonna be fun. It'll definitely be more than likely temporary, because I'm an entrepreneur type person, so I'm always gonna be chasing that dream, right? But in your 20s, I personally would not take a safe job just because it's safe. Now, if that safe job, it happens to be my dream job, hey, well, whatever, man. If that's what it is for you, then get on after it. But if that's not where your heart lies, like my heart wasn't there, then why take that? You can always go back to it. the 20s is the time to push and grind out that stuff that you really want to get to, right? Those levels, those dreams. That's the time. If you're like, if you're an artist, that's the time to work on your art. If you're a programmer and you have an app idea, that's the time to hit that real hard. When you have that super high energy, when you don't have any big responsibilities because there's no kids, there's no spouse, there's no mortgage sometimes, etc. Dude, that's the time to get on after it, right? I mean, it really is. Now, that's just my opinion. Your opinion can differ. If it does, drop it in the comment section below. Let me know. That's what I love about this channel, is that we can converse and talk about all these topics. Those are 3 traps I would say that is good not to fall in your 20s. There will be a part 3 to this video, because if you know already, this is part 2. If you haven't seen part 1, it'll be linked here. This is part 2. If you want to see part 3, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you're alerted when it gets uploaded. Smash that like button for me, and I'll catch you on the next one.